Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to MiM Monday. This is Mickey in Minutes Live, a quick conversation about some of the latest Disney news stories with you. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga, and on today's show, let's talk about Josh D'Amaro, our new CEO. Well, pretty soon, anyways. And a whole lot more. So thanks so much for joining, everybody. I see some people joining in the chat already. Be sure to leave your comments in the chat and let's make this a conversation. If you're watching this as a playback on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then please leave your comments and share your thoughts as well. And be sure to join us next time at 8:30 p.m. Central Time live on Instagram to be part of the conversation as it happens. So anyways, what's going on, everybody? I'm very happy to be here, you guys, and I'm sure you are too. So first things first, did anybody watch the Super Bowl yesterday? Because I did not. I did not watch the Super Bowl yesterday. I'm just not into sports, I don't do the whole thing. But I did see that somebody obviously got to say we're going to Disneyland. So let's see. The MVP of the Super Bowl was Kenneth Walker III. And then Sam Darnold of the Seattle Seahawks. I guess the second guy's the quarterback. They did it. They said we're going to Disneyland because they won, and they did. Today there was a cavalcade in their honor through Disneyland. So that's pretty cool. I don't follow football. I don't watch sports, but I do love a good Disney tradition, and the we're going to Disneyland thing is pretty awesome. Actually, I talked about that on a really old MiM Monday episode, not MiM Monday, really old Mickey in Minutes podcast episode, a long time ago. If you dig deep, maybe like 4 years ago, you can find that episode where I talked about that and a couple other fun things. I talked about how Doritos, popular Super Bowl snack, were actually invented in Disneyland. So you can check out that old episode. I don't even know what year that was, but if you're interested, dig and find it. So let's see. Down in the chat, hey, what's going on? Thanks so much for hanging out. Let's see, Tim. Poor Pats, poor Patriots. Yeah, I guess. That's funny. Yeah, they're going to Disneyland. Meg in the chat says, why is it Disneyland, not Disney World? It really just depends, honestly. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the proximity from where the game was played to either Disneyland or Disney World. I'm pretty sure it's whichever one is closer is the one that they get to go to. But yeah, so hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? So yeah, that was the Super Bowl champs. They went to Disneyland. That's pretty cool. But let's talk about the big news. I've been waiting for a week to talk about this, you guys. So, like, literally last MiM Monday, if you tuned in or if you listened, I was talking about how they were soon to announce the CEO, the next CEO, and we thought it was going to be announced at the earnings call last Monday, and it wasn't announced. And so I went on MiM Monday, and I was like, wasn't announced, but we're thinking it's, probably going to be Josh D'Amaro. And literally the very next morning, you guys, they officially announced it, that Josh D'Amaro will be the next CEO of the Disney Company. So congratulations, Josh D'Amaro. But I also mentioned last week that Dana Walden was another, really close contender. And, she's still in it, guys, because she is going to be the next president and CCO of the Disney Company. So working alongside Josh D'Amaro very closely is what it seems like. It kind of reminds me of like the Michael Eisner era, where we had Michael Eisner as, the CEO and the face of the company. And then you had Frank Wells as the president of the company. And, just like that. So let's dive into this a little bit. First of all, what are your thoughts down below? Let me know. Are you excited for Josh D'Amaro to take the helm? Just your initial thoughts. My initial thoughts yes, we're getting a parks guy as our CEO. So as a parks fan myself, just so stoked on that. But yeah, so he actually won this with a unanimous vote that was held on Monday, February 2nd. And he's going to take his position as CEO during the annual meeting on March 18th, 2026. So, yeah, pretty close. And then, of course, Bob Iger is going to stay on, not as CEO, obviously, but stay on as like I think they said like a consultant, chief consultant or something like that, basically until his contract runs out at the end of the year. So, but let's talk a little bit about Josh, because if you don't know about Josh, let me give you a little bit of his history here with the Disney Company. So, starting in 2010, he was the vice president of Adventures by Disney. So, Adventures by Disney, that's this company, this thing that Disney does where they take people to different places like around the world, and places that don't necessarily have Disney parks, right? Just other destinations around the world. And let's see in the chat, sorry. I wonder what he'll bring, and hope he can help with employment, especially when I've been applying for a job there. Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder what's going to happen there as far as cast members and the trickle down from him being all the way to the top to the cast members in the parks and other positions, other jobs at the Disney Company. Good question there. So when he was vice president of Adventures by Disney, he oversaw all the group guided tours and operations to various U.S. and international destinations. Then he did that until 2013. And from 2013 to 2014, he was the vice president of Animal Kingdom. So he was vice president while they were planning their big Pandora expansion, the Pandora World of Avatar. And he was there for a bit of that. He had that role from 2013 to 2014. Then 2014 through 2017, he was the senior vice president of resort and transportation operations at Walt Disney World. So, there we go. Animal Kingdom parks guy, resort and transportation at Walt Disney World parks guy. So, he's been in it. And that's not even it, obviously. So after he was senior vice president of resort and transportation operations at Walt Disney World, he was from 2017 through 2018 the CCO of Walt Disney World. Then 2018 through 2019, the president of Disneyland. Then from 2019 to 2020, he was the president of Walt Disney World. And then from 2020 up until now, he's been the chairman of Disney Parks and Experiences. So, he has experience with all of it, with Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And then, individually as president of both of those. And then the chairman of Disney Parks and Experiences, which, it's all the Disney parks, Disney Cruise Line, and all the other stuff. Yeah, in the chat, what a resume. I know, right? Could you say overqualified, right? But you do notice in there, obviously Disney is an entertainment company, not just a theme park company. So, there's a glaring hole there. He doesn't have the experience with entertainment, right? With that side of the company, which is where Dana Walden comes in as being the next president and CCO of Disney. So a little bit about Dana. Before Disney, she was the chairman and CEO of the Fox Television Group. And she came to Disney during the acquisition of Fox, when Disney bought out Fox. Then she became the chairman of entertainment for Walt Disney Television. Then she became the chairman of Disney General Entertainment Content. These titles, so funny. Then she became the co-chair of Disney Entertainment, which included global streaming and TV. And under her leadership, she won 180, or she got 183 Emmy nominations. Not sure how many of those she won, but that's a big number, right? So clearly, she knows what she's doing when it comes to the entertainment side of things. So it really seems like Josh and Dana are going to be unstoppable when it comes to the parks, to the company. Josh having the parks, Dana having the entertainment side of things. What do you guys think of Dana Walden? I think she's pretty qualified as well, and I know she's a very good reputation within the Disney company. That's why she was a contender for the CEO position, but ultimately it went to Josh. But yeah, I think they're going to be a really great team. And Josh D'Amaro specifically has definitely the vote of confidence from a lot of people, a lot of important people around the company. So I just want to read you guys a couple of quotes from different people regarding Josh D'Amaro. And I want to start with Michael Eisner, right? I mentioned Michael Eisner a little bit ago, thinking that, this was giving, Michael Eisner era vibes. And I kind of hope it does, because I personally, being a 90s kid, I grew up in the Michael Eisner era. I think we had unprecedented growth in the theme park, in the Disney theme parks during Michael Eisner's time there. So getting a vote of confidence from Michael Eisner, I think, is a big deal. So here's the quote from Michael Eisner congratulating Josh D'Amaro. It says, "Congratulations to Josh D'Amaro for becoming the CEO of the Walt Disney Company, and congratulations to Chairman James Gorman for making such a wise pick, as well as promoting Dana Walden to President and Chief Creative Officer. My advice to Josh is to continue Bob Iger's strategy that creativity will handle profits. Always protect the brand and keep close the words of Walt Disney. We love to entertain kings and queens, but the vital thing to remember is this: every guest receives the VIP treatment. Good luck." Wow, that actually choked me up, like, reading it just now. I've read that before, but as I was reading that, like, I just love. I'm a big Michael Eisner stan. So just, breaking this down, that Walt Disney quote, "We love to entertain kings and queens, but the vital thing to remember is every guest receives VIP treatment." And I just think back to, like, being a kid and going to Walt Disney World and feeling that way, right? Feeling that I was special to the cast members, to everybody around there, right? And, it wasn't just me being a kid at Disney World. It really was that way, And I know the cast members today really try to keep that up as well, but, it was just it felt so special to go to Disney World. And, it's obviously different now being an adult and going and, frankly, being the one who pays for it. But, I feel like if every CEO had that mentality, I'm looking at you, Bob Chapek. If every CEO had that mentality, then, the Walt Disney parks would continue to thrive and feel, special like they do. I also really like that it says creativity will handle profits, right? I think that's such a great mentality, because, again, I'm looking at you, Bob Chapek. Creativity will handle the profits, right? You can't be so bottom line focused, right? This is a creative company. The Walt Disney Company is based around entertainment and creativity. So, keep the creativity first, and then the profits will come. I think, if you put out a good product, if you keep continually putting out a good product that makes people happy and that doesn't alienate people and just, is for everybody, then the profits will come, because people will want to go to the parks and people will want to watch the movies, So I think that's such great advice from Michael Eisner. Let's see in the chat. I haven't been to Disney World in 20 years. You're going, this April will be 20 years of you not going. My advice is go back. It's very, very different. Very, very different place from 20 years ago. There's a lot for you to learn probably before you go, so do your research. But, it's wonderful. I mean, it's still, for me, it's still wonderful. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here on a Monday night talking about the company. But yeah, I hope you get back there soon. Hey, what's going on? Thanks so much for hanging out. We're talking about Josh D'Amaro becoming the new CEO of the Walt Disney Company. So a couple other quotes here to read. Let's see here. Robert Iger, Bob Iger, the man, the guy who was CEO twice because he had to save the company from Bob Chapek. Let's see. He says that Josh D'Amaro is an exceptional leader and the right person to become our next CEO. He has an instinctive appreciation of the Disney brand and a deep understanding of what resonates with our audiences, paired with the rigor and attention to detail required to deliver some of our most ambitious projects. His ability to combine creativity with operational excellence is exemplary, and I'm thrilled for Josh and the company. Again, a huge vote of confidence considering that the last guy, Bob Iger appointed, Bob Chapek, Bob Iger said that it was the biggest mistake of his career, essentially. So, to the point where he had to come back and fix it. So I'm really happy to hear that quote from Bob Iger. And again, so if you've been watching the D23 Expos the last couple of times, you've seen Josh D'Amaro on the stage, right? He's got the look, right? He's got the he looks professional, but he also looks personable. I've heard that he's very into the fans. He's always willing to stop for a selfie and all that stuff. But if you've seen him on stage at D23, I've never met the guy, but I've watched all the D23 Parks panels, and you could tell that he just loves what he does. He loves the parks. You could see it in the way that he talks about it. And I don't think it's an act, because if you ever saw Bob Chapek talking about things, it didn't look that way, right? It felt like he was doing a job. But looking at Josh D'Amaro up there, or even seeing those videos of Josh D'Amaro at like South by Southwest or other things, he just looks so into it. He looks like he's having the best time. So, man, I think this is such a good thing. Let's see, another one. So James Gorman, the chairman of the Walt Disney Company Board of Directors, he said, and I quote, "Josh D'Amaro possesses that rare combination of inspiring leadership and innovation, a keen eye for strategic growth opportunities, and a deep passion for the Disney brand and all its people, all of which make him the right person to take the helm as Disney's next CEO." He went on to say, throughout this search process, Josh has demonstrated a strong vision for the company's future and a deep understanding of the creative spirit that makes Disney unique in an ever-changing marketplace. He has an outstanding record of business achievement, collaborating with some of the biggest names in entertainment to bring their stories to life in our parks, showcasing the power of combining Disney storytelling with cutting-edge technology. The board believes he is exceptionally well prepared to guide this global company forward to serve our consumers around the world and to create long-term value for our shareholders. So, again, another huge vote of confidence. I don't remember reading anything close to this when they named Bob Chapek. Now, granted, if we were to give any kind of benefit of the doubt to Bob Chapek, it was COVID. It was a tough time to be the CEO of any company, much less the largest entertainment and theme park company in the world. But even after the parks gained their footing, it was a train wreck. So to the point where he literally got fired. So there was nothing like this. I feel like with hearing everybody support Josh D'Amaro the way that they're doing this, the way that they are, all these glowing quotes, this isn't just, blowing smoke. This seems genuine. And Josh seems very genuine. So in the chat, how do you spell his last name? D'Amaro, Josh D'Amaro's last name, D''Amaro, D'Amaro. So I like all the quotes going around social media saying there's a great big beautiful D'Amaro. I like that. That's really great. So Josh has some big shoes to fill, with Bob Chapek and everyone who's come before him and led this company. Some great, some not so great, but really big, dare I say, yellow shoes to fill, leading the Walt Disney Company. But I think he's the man for the job. Not that I have anything, inside knowledge or anything. It feels good to me. It feels right to me. Like I said, watching D23, watching social media, watching other people who have met him and interacted with him, what they have to say about him, it feels right. Down in the chat, paging Mr. D'Amaro, Mr. Josh D'Amaro. Yes, exactly. Man, it's good. It's a good day. It's a good time to be a Disney fan. What do you guys think about that? But yeah, actually, that's your question. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think of all these quotes. But of course, we'll end on what Josh D'Amaro said in reply to all this stuff. He said, "I am immensely grateful to the board for entrusting me with leading a company that means so much to me and millions around the world." That's just part of his quote. But I just love that he said, means so much to me. He made it personal because Disney should be personal. I've never met anybody who's a Disney fan who doesn't take it very, very personally, right? It's like every time we see a new parks announcement, for me anyways, it feels like either a personal attack or a personal reward, right? Like I remember just hearing about the closures of some of my favorite attractions. It felt like a personal attack. It was like, oh, my heart, like this is terrible. But then when I heard or experienced new things that were wonderful, things that were great, like the way that I felt experiencing Galaxy's Edge or Rise of the Resistance for the first time, like I felt like this is a win for me, like personally. So it's very personal, and I'm so glad that Josh has said that. Now, first order of business, Josh D'Amaro, I need you to upgrade the Figment attraction, right? We need a new Figment attraction. I think everyone's asking for it, right? You're making bank on Figment popcorn buckets. Why don't you give us a up-to-date, really, really solid ride and bring back the Dream Finder for it? Okay, let's do that. Let's see. Let's fix up Tomorrowland at Disneyland, right? Fix it up. Maybe get that People Mover going again. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Get that Disneyland People Mover going again. If you do that, I will be okay with you renaming it Tomorrowland, as long as we get a People Mover going again. So, let's see. In the chat, maybe lower prices. Who am I kidding? Yep, Meg, I agree. That'd be nice, right? At least lower the prices on like lightning lanes and stuff. I don't know. That's the other thing. I know that, he wasn't exactly a saint, right? He wasn't perfect. He did some things we don't agree with, right? I mean, he's been the head of parks for a while, and a lot of the stuff that we've seen that we're angry about were him or associated with him. These higher prices, these like reservation system at Disneyland, and just to name a couple of things. So I don't know. I think the flip side of this is that it is a company, right? Disney is a company. There are shareholders, and they do need to make money. But again, Josh made it personal. And I feel like he's somebody who will obviously, make the company money, or else they wouldn't have voted for him. They want money. But I think he's also going to do stuff to appease the fans and at least ease the blow of having to pay these prices, right? Let's see in the chat, Genie Plus or whatever it's called now. Yeah, Lightning Lane, all that stuff. He's been the head during all that stuff. So, but again, we'll see what happens. There's a lot to look forward to, in the future of Disney parks. Villains Land for one, the Cars Land, what's it called? Piston Peak National Park, even things as far off, in the future and distance far off as Abu Dhabi, right? That's coming too. And he's going to lead the company through that as well. So, let's see what happens. But overall, yep, you can tell I'm excited. I think it's going to be really great. So let's see, a couple other things just to close out the show. February 8th, yesterday, was Disney California Adventure's birthday. Happy 25th birthday to Disney California Adventure. I'm very, very, very happy with that, because I love the way that the parks have changed, how that park has changed over the years. It's evolved, it's grown, it's become its own thing and its own identity. And I'm happy about it. So they're celebrating over there. They got Mickey and Minnie in these brand new outfits that are so cute. They I like how Minnie's shirt and Mickey's shirt have the sun on it, which kind of represents the old sun wheel, or that big sun in the entrance, the old entrance to Disney California Adventure. Mickey has a jacket that has like the Grizzly Peak logo on it, which that used to be the icon of the park. Which, by the way, if you're interested in Disney park icons, check out the latest episode of the Mickey in Minutes podcast, season 8, episode 1, where I ranked all the domestic Disney park icons, best to worst. So, speaking of those icons, they have a popcorn bucket, obviously, of Mickey's Fun Wheel celebrating this anniversary, and it's interactive. You can turn it on, and it lights up with different things around the park, and it spins like the Ferris wheel spins, and it's so good, so funny, so funny. I guess it's funny. So fun is what I meant to say. So it's great. I'm looking at the chat. What are you talking about, Meg? I missed when you typed your last comment, so I'm not connecting it to anything I said in my brain. So, but yeah, so that's around, and of course there's new merch celebrating 25th anniversary of Disney California Adventure. With the great stuff with logos and all right, Piston Cup. I get it. You're funny. Ha 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 ha. And I mentioned a lot of this stuff last week on the show. But we got Humphrey the Bear. Humphrey the Bear is doing meet and greets now at Storytellers Cafe. His first ever time being a walk around character at any Disney park. So that's really exciting. So go check out Disney California Adventure. Oh, and while you're there, you can check out Soarin' Over California. The OG Soarin' is back in celebration of this 25th anniversary of the park. And then, of course, directly after that, when that ends, we get the American version, Soarin' Across America, for the United States of America's 250th birthday. So that's so exciting. Lots of great Soarin' stuff. And the last thing I want to mention before we close out this awesome MiM Monday is, according to the Walt Disney World calendar, Frozen Ever After has a reopening date. It's going to reopen, guys, on Thursday, February 12th. So very, very soon. That's so exciting. Of course, you get to see the new Frozen updated animatronics. If you go after February 12th, that means no more projected faces. No more of those weird glowy faces. They're going to have fully, articulated, awesome sculpted faces. And so much more is being refurbished while they're at it, lighting and other things as well. So finally, finally, Walt Disney World's Frozen Ever After is going to be what it should be, right? What it always should have been. I was never really a fan of those projected faces. So what do you guys think? Are you guys excited to celebrate 25 years of Disney California Adventure? Are you excited to see Frozen Ever After come back with all the animatronics looking brand new? And of course, are you excited for our next CEO, Josh D'Amaro, and the next president of Walt Disney, of the Walt Disney Company, Dana Walden? So, yeah, I think it's gonna be a good future. Future's looking bright, as they say, and that wasn't just a sun joke for Disney California Adventure. The future is looking bright for the Walt Disney Company. So anyways, this has been fun, guys. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for another MIM Monday. Again, if you were listening to this as a playback on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or watching the playback on YouTube, be sure to join us next time in the chat. We had a great time. We laughed. We joked here on MIM Monday in the chat. And I want you to be a part of it next time, guys. 8:30 p.m. Central Time, live on Instagram. Come hang out. And be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to the show. And check out the other episodes that we do, the other things that we do here on Mickey in Minutes. There's so much great content, guys, like 7+ years worth of content over on the podcast feed. So check it out, dive in, and I hope that you enjoy everything we're doing here on Mickey in Minutes. And this has been great, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga. This is Mickey in Minutes, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, what's going on, everybody?